Hello my hiking friends, it is nice to see you here. Today I will be sharing you 10 things that I learned from my very first survival camp. We had this really awesome weekend of snow. As you can see right now, the snow has all melted again and probably it will not come back. I learned a lot of stuff there. Unfortunately, I didn't film a lot of there because I was so occupied with learning my new survival skills, but I have something on the film and I have a lot of things in here, so let's get started. Does it bother you that I have this shadow on me, like this weird sunshine going on? So is it a little bit better now? Yes? Okay. The first thing. Drink warm water. Don't drink cold water because it will cool you down, and it is important to stay warm and drink a lot of it because you may be cold and you don't have this sweaty or hot feeling when you normally drink a lot. So you have to force yourself to drink warm water or warm tea, whatever you have, to keep yourself hydrated. So don't forget it. Have a bottle of water close to you. We put a water bottle inside of our jacket. Our instructor had this amazing thing that he had the water bottle attached to the string, and the string was around his neck, so he had this small water bottle and it was always close to him and it was easy to reach and drink. If you have food, eat warm food. If you have something like bread, or we ate bread and ham and we always heated it up on the campfire, so it would be at least lukewarm, not totally cold, and it has the same purpose of not cooling you down inside. So eat warm food as well. When you see that you are lost in the woods, decide really quickly that you are going to spend the night, so you have the daylight to build your shelter, to gather your firewood, to make a fire, and just to prepare everything you need when you are going to spend the night. Decide ideally like 2 hours before the sun sets, maybe even sooner, that you are going to spend the night, and find a decent camping place. A good camping place is a little bit higher, not in a slope, because the cold gathers in those low places of the earth. So choose a little bit higher place. It is good to have your camp place like a little bit more in like a young forest, or forest where you have those low trees. For example, this is not a good place to build a campsite because it is really open, and if the wind comes, you will have no protection. So okay, when you have chosen your camp place, build a fire immediately. If you have your fire going, then start building your shelter, not before. Put your fire in front of the shelter, and if you can, build a reflector behind the fire, so the heat from the fire will reflect back to the shelter and gives you some extra warmth. The best wood to start your fire and to build it really quickly is the conifer trees, the trees with small needles. These are the ones that require lower heat, and you can use the hardwood, the wood that has leaves on it, later on when the fire is higher and the temperatures are higher, so it burns better like this. Use the wood that is already dry. Don't take down the fresh wood, but find woods that have already fallen down, so it is dry enough for you to start your fire. If you have your fire going, build a shelter. Use whatever you have. We use those big spruce branches or spruce trunks, and we put the spruce branches on top of it to keep the warmth in. There are endless ways to build a shelter. You can Google it or you can find it on YouTube. A lot of survivalists and other specialists have done videos about it, but just build something to protect you from the winds. If you have the shelter, if you have the fire going, gather firewood for the evening. If you want to keep the fire going throughout the night to keep yourself warm, for example, you don't have a warm sleeping bag with you, please don't go to sleep in the night. Stay up, keep your fire going and keep yourself warm close to the fire. You need a lot of wood. To keep the fire going throughout the night. Better gather more wood than less, then you don't have to go into the woods in the dark to find some firewood if your fire is going out. So fire is really important if you want to survive in the nighttime in winter. Another important thing to keep in mind when you are out there in the winter time is to really watch when you become sluggish or like this really apathetic or angry, because these are the signs that your sugar levels in your blood are dropping. If you have some candy with you, eat some candy. If you don't, just be really aware of it. Keep yourself warm, because your brain slows down, and if you don't have your brain with you in the forest when you try to survive, then you're screwed. Keep yourself fresh, move around, don't go to sleep if you don't have fire going. If you are all alone, it is better to keep yourself awake, because I heard this a terrible story from our instructors that people have found other people who have been lost in the woods. They have found them like sitting next to a tree with their backpack, with their super warm sleeping bag in their backpack and food in their backpack, and they have strained themselves too much, so their brain basically stopped working and they sat down and died next to the tree with all of this gear with them. So be really mindful of how you feel. So when you are starting to feel sluggish, eat a candy if you have, if you don't, drink some tea if you have. If you don't have, you can use spruce needles or pine needles to put inside of the water, so you have this nice tea. We used wild raspberry stems to make a tea. It's an awesome tea with really high concentration of vitamins and minerals. If you don't have food, don't talk about food, and don't think about food. If you are starting to think about the food, find something else to do, because our body can manage quite a long time without food. So this is only a mind trick for you that you are so hungry you can't do anything else. Of course you can. In our survival camp we had 2 loaves of bread and 2 small pieces of ham for 6 people for 24 hours. That meant for the whole time outside I ate about 4 to 6 pieces of bread and like 4 pieces of ham, and I was really happy. And for the last thing, washing. If you are in the woods for more than 24 hours, you have to wash your strategic places, because dirty skin will chafe quite easily. That means you have this rash when things rub against your skin. So wash yourself, wash the strategic places like your armpits, your between the legs, your crotch, your feet. Keep your feet clean, because feet are really important. They are carrying you and your backpack and your gear, whatever you have. So you don't want to have broken feet. But in the winter time, don't wash your face. Your face generates this kind of oil to protect your face from the cold, and this is what you want to keep. Don't wash it off, and clean your hands as well. If you have some cuts on your hands, at least they will be clean and you will not have this infection on it. So hands, armpits, feet and your crotch, but not your face. Don't wash your face. And for the last thing, I'm going to tell you some hacks for winter hiking and winter surviving. We learned this really fun way of doing an oil lamp if you need some light during the evening. If you have canned oily foods with you, for example, we had canned fish in oil, and what you can do is you can do a hole inside of the can, on top of the can, and put a piece of cloth, twist it and put it inside of the can, inside of the hole, and if the cloth will be immersed with oil, you can light the cloth and it will be basically an oil lamp. And as an extra good thing, you will have warm fish at the end of the night or in the morning when the light goes off. The second one, snow gaiters. If you want to go hiking in winter time, have snow gaiters with you, because I didn't have them and my ankles were quite wet all the time because the snow came in my boots. It was bad. If you are walking in snow, be aware that it is really hard to walk in snow. If you have many persons in your group, switch the trail maker so everybody can rest a bit and walk in the trail that others have made in the snow. This is a good thing to keep in mind when you are planning your winter hiking trips, so you will not be in the woods in the night time when you plan to cover a lot of kilometers but you only covered a small amount of it. So walking in snow is really hard. So here you are. These were my tips and tricks from my first winter survival camp. I want to give a big shout out to the company called Suur Seiklus to organize this event. And I really thank you, Thomas and Andres, for educating us. All of the things I learned during this camp came from them. Check them out. I will put the link below where you can contact them and come to Estonia. Yeah. I hope you learned something from this. Please let me know in the comments what are the things you want to add to this list of basic survival knowledge. I would be really happy to read them. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video and subscribe if you want to make me happy. Thank you for watching. Go for a hike and I will see you next time. Bye. A viewer of mine pointed out that you don't know my name and you have been calling me hiker in Estonia. That's sort of okay, but my name is Maiu. You can spell it M-A-I-U. You can still call me hiker in Estonia as well, but my name is Maiu. And yeah.